So I figured we would do a continuation from last week's episode to explain more about our disability because we obviously made references to the fact that we are blind, or as some like or as some people like to say, visually impaired.
Or low vision as another term.
So the reason why I wanted to talk about our disability, not to earn pity from the listeners, because I'm sure this will happen, but I wanted to show how easy it can be for somebody to overcome having a disability and follow their dream.
Not only that, but we're starting to realize that despite our disability being similar to other vision disabilities such as RP or glaucoma, no one knows about it. No one's ever heard of it, no one knows what it is, so hopefully this will help people know a little more about it.
That is a good point, because a lot of times people think that anyone that's blind endures the same obstacles and has the same vision acuity, which is not true.
Nope. Blindness is a spectrum. Even though when people think of people being blind, they think of those that are totally blind. Which is unfair if that's only, what, 3% of the population that are totally blind? And then the rest of us see like either a little bit or have different types of disabilities. Like we just see touch blindness or night blindness, but we still have some vision.
And some people technically don't have any functional vision, but they can see like the difference between light and shadows, and that helps them depict that there's something there. They might not be able to make out what that is, but they can tell there's a figure in front of them,
Exactly.
like a dark blob.
Or in our case, it can also affect other parts besides just the eyes. So when I was 4 and Lauren was 5, is when we were officially diagnosed with Bardet-Biedl Syndrome. And currently, there is now 16 mutations known for BBS.
Or 10.
Yes. So that means we have 10 mutations from this disability.
Or that 10 different genes are mutated in our body.
Exactly. And BBS is like RP. Do not ask me how to say that word because I can't.
Retinitis Pigmentosa.
Thank you. That word. Or RP for short.
Yeah, I said it.
Where RP starts with the front of the eye and slowly deteriorates throughout over time. BBS starts with the back of the eye and destroys the part of the eye that takes in colors and lights for the spectrum and slowly works its way toward the front.
And then gradually over time, eventually you won't be able to see anything.
Exactly. And the reason why BBS is so hard to diagnose is there is no two cases that are alike. Even though me and Lauren both have BBS 10, we are not alike with what we have.
Wait, we're not twins?
I mean, we're Irish twins. We're born the same day, a year apart.
But going back to what you said, a lot of times people think, oh, two people have RP, they have the same symptoms.
Right.
And I was thinking about this the other day with my doctor, and I think, on a broader sense, we have a lot of the same symptoms from RP and BBS, but I think it affects us differently.
Exactly. So I know some of the symptoms that we had that are similar is obesity, unfortunately, dental problems, such as having small mouths, overbites, underbites, having teeth that overlay.
Our teeth that are crowded together.
Yep. Extra digits, I had extra toes. Lauren had extra fingers.
No more. Fortunately, our parents opted to have the extra digits removed, so now we look like a normal human being.
And then when it comes to the eyes, we both have night blindness. We both don't have depth perception or peripheral vision, which is side vision.
And depth perception is being able to tell how far away something is, right?
How far something is, and also how deep an island is. So, for example, if you see a person that's visually impaired going off like steps or going off a curve, they might hesitate and tap it with their white cane or their foot because they can't tell how far down the step is.
Ooh, that's what I was gonna say. They can't judge by looking if it's 3 inches off the ground or 10 feet off the ground,
Exactly.
and that's scary. I hate going down steps.
I don't blame you. Another thing is color blindness. And where we start this rate is light sensitivity.
Well, I was gonna say that some people experience color blindness of not being able to see certain colors.
Mm-hmm.
So like all they see like reds or greens, or
Right.
just see like things in shadow. So like white, blacks, and grays. But I think for me, and you can let me know if this happens to you too. I have a hard time differentiating colors that are similar in hue. So like a pink shirt, a red shirt, and an orange shirt,
They all look
depending.
the same.
Yeah, depending on how dark or light the hue of those shades are, they might all look red to me.
I'm the same way. So at my work, we have these turnovers. One are apples, one are cherries. I have to open them because they look the same color. So I have to see which one's darker to know that's the cherry.
Take a bite out of it.
Can't do that. But when I first started working there, I kept them mixed up a lot because I didn't know how to tell them apart.
By taste.
No. But then also another thing about colors is for me is I can't look at a certain color for long because it starts to change. Has that happened to you?
No, I think it's whatever I snap judgment of the color is. It's like, oh, it's a red shirt. It's a red shirt. Now, if somebody were to come up to me and say, "Hey, Lauren, that's not a red shirt. That's an orange shirt," like now it's red.
So for me, it's I feel bad because it's more to do with skin tones.
Oh no.
So our uniforms are black,
Okay.
and a lot of my employers are also African American.
Does it look like a big shadow?
They do. I can't tell where they are as a person until they're speaking. I feel bad. But a lot of times from the back, I will mix up my employees because if they have dark hair, dark skin, or uniform, I can't differentiate where their skin is and where their uniform is, or their hair is.
Wow. So when I worked at a warehouse at Blind Industries, my coworker, if they were African American, wore a dark shirt, and the lighting in the room wasn't really bright,
Yes,
I couldn't see they were there at all.
exactly. I have the same problem. And then it's worse at the counter. Our counters are clear, so when customers stand on the counter not say anything, I would overlook them because they blend into the treat display.
Right? You don't think they're there
Right.
until they start speaking, and then you hear them, and you're like, oh look, hey.
Yeah. And I felt annoyed because Nina, my boss, didn't get it. And she thought I was being lazy and not do my job, going to talk to customers, but I couldn't see them. It often helped that the counter we have to greet customers at is 5 feet away, and I can only see like 5 feet period before I can actually pick up details.
Can you imagine you start like talking to yourself to get rid of the fact of ignoring customers? Like I'm just gonna start talking to the shadows.
Another thing is that my sense of touch is super sensitive, and that helped me learn Braille grade 1 and 2, and Lauren can't feel anything when it comes to Braille.
Yeah, my fingers are like numb.
Which is another misconcept that people believe that those are blind or low vision can read Braille. And only 15% of the blind community knows how to read and understand it.
Yep. I learned trying to learn Braille that if you are diabetic or if you've had any type of trauma to your hands, you have what they associate with neuropathy, which is when you don't have a lot of good feeling in your hands and fingers. So, scary thought is I could probably burn my hand and be okay.
That is crazy.
I mean, it would hurt, but I'd probably heal from it.
Yeah. On the other hand, can on the other hand, touch someone coming out of the oven and I'm screaming pain.
You on the other hand can go out in the hot sun and burst into flames.
But I was saying another thing that's different from us is light sensitivity. So for me, I have special glasses and sunglasses that help cut down glare and how much light might take in because it starts to hurt. And if I don't wear glasses, I try to go somewhere that's really bright, really dim. I'm blind for a good half the day.
Yeah, and I noticed today, I was telling you when we were shopping at Target. I love Target, please sponsor us. That I had a hard time I had a hard time with my eyes adjusting coming from it being really bright and sunny outside to going inside the store. And I've always been used to it taking a while for my eyes to adjust and for not everything to be blurry or like walking in the dark almost.
Right.
Like it's weird trying to explain it.
It's not.
Um, until things can become brighter and more clear. So when my vision first started to get worse, it could take, a couple seconds to a couple minutes. Today it almost took like a half hour. Like I got really upset.
I know. I feel bad. If I'm around bright lights for a while, the color I see is red. And I'm wondering if that's from when we were little and had whooping toss and I burst the blood vessels down back my eyes.
Ew.
If that has a reaction to my being strained. That's why I see red.
I get grossed out by that story every time.
You didn't have to experience it. Another thing is hypersensitivity for our senses.
Speak for yourself.
I was about to say that.
Oh.
So, contrast, mine are hypersensitive. To where Lauren likes to call me Bat Lady because I can hear Kendra.
No, your nickname is Daredevil. You have the nose of a bloodhound. You can hear things You can hear things miles away. You can taste every ingredient in food.
Oh. But then I feel bad if you're the opposite.
I think my hearing isn't bad.
No, but you don't have a sense of smell. Which is common for people with BBS. Another thing is that my sense of touch is super sensitive. And that helped me learn Braille grade 1 and 2. And Lauren can't feel anything when it comes to Braille.
Yeah, my fingers are like numb.
Which is another misconcept that people believe that those are blind or low vision can read Braille. And only 15% of the blind community knows how to read and understand it.
Yep. I learned trying to learn Braille that if you are diabetic or if you've had any type of trauma to your hands, you have what they associate with neuropathy, which is when you don't have a lot of good feeling in your hands and fingers.
So, two more things about the eyes is for BBS, at a certain point, you do develop cataracts. And cataracts are when a film is created over the iris.
Nope.
No?
Basically, how I understand it is that a thin film, and it's like thin plastic, builds up over your eye lens.
Right. But for those with BBS, the cataract is actually in the back of the eye, not the front. Another cool thing is that because your eyes are the last thing to develop when you're in a fetus, like when you're a baby, if you have any type of eye disability, you will not have a solid cutter because of the mutation. But a lot of people that have low vision or blindness have hazel, Oceana, cat eyes, gray eyes. Like it's not a normal color for that reason.
Teacher, I have a question.
What's that?
So, what is the case when a person that has a vision disability or is blind, their eye has a solid white or black color? They don't have an iris.
So that means because your eyes last thing to develop, and this is just my theory, is the gene that creates the iris or pupil is your sibling mutation where it's not developed
Or damaged.
or damaged or it got destroyed.
Huh.
But for example, Lauren has hazel eyes, and I have Oceana, which is blue green.
Ooh, pretty.
The sad thing is though, because now we both have cataracts, you can't see the mixed color, you see the solid color. So a lot of people think we have blue eyes, not seeing the second color mixed in.
Another aspect of BBS is that there's a mental component, and a lot of times it's seen as either somebody being autistic or developing a learning disability.
Oh, I hated that growing up.
I don't know. I think as an adult and through social media, learning more about autism and anxiety and ADHD, I can see some parallels. I don't know what to do with that knowledge, but I'm willing to accept that I definitely exhibit some signs of ADHD and anxiety.
Well, anxiety and depression run in her family, regardless of her disability. But the thing that annoyed me is growing up in school, they kept trying to use that to deny me schooling that would help me with my low intelligence, which was frustrating.
You're like, I want to be the smartest person in the room.
It was stupid that if you were above standard classes, you were disabled. Therefore, you couldn't do accommodations. So you had to stay in standard classes to get the bare minimum accommodations you received, which were nothing.
Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that. I think our parents did the best they could, not having enough information and enough resources.
Oh, I agree.
Because that kind of mentality wouldn't fly today. I think if your kid was in school and your kid had a disability and had an IEP, if they fought to have an aptitude test to show that they were intelligent, they would be given that right to take those classes.
But that was the thing. Our IEP for Fords, so that it never showed how intelligent we are.
Yeah, and that was a grave disservice to us.
Yes. I I think the worst disservice was SATs. That we were denied taking them because they didn't want to do foundations. Despite the fact I had the highest score of PSATs of the district.
I mean, I think I'm people smart versus being book smart.
Oh, you are.
So I feel like my disservice was them not being able to find the material in a way that was accommodating. So books that were on tape or books that were large print. They just said, "Oh, we don't know how to help you, so we're not going to help you. Figure it out."
And that was the other thing is that a lot of times we would get papers for schoolwork, and it was during the time where you had the copy machines and the projectors, and you'd be given the ones that were faded and was not this stuff. And we're still expected to fill it in, despite teachers knowing you couldn't see it.
Wow, I think you're trying to date us, Nick.
You're welcome.
I feel old.
But no, I agree that our parents did the best they could, and I love that when we got home from school, we did homework time with four of us. But despite our discharge from school, it did teach us to work hard and to learn ways around the systems, knowing that the only way to receive what we want in life is to do it ourselves and not depend on others.
Facts. I think I think too it also taught us to reach for things, to reach outside of what's expected of us and do what will make us happy even if there's no easy path to that destination.
Oh, totally agree. A perfect example is when we did college. So my first semester, I had just been kicked out of my major for forensics after being told that someone like me had no future. So annoyed, I went to my counselor and asked her what was the hardest class at the school, and was told it was called Geospatial Information Services. Systems, sorry, which is technology used to create maps. So there's no special technology. You're using pretty much size 10 font on a computer to create blueprints. And my teacher was the only one that gave me a chance. Everyone else said, it's too hard, you can't do it. If you want to back out, it won't be held against you, etc. And I stuck with it. And thanks to my teacher, I can say that the online map that they use for the school, I created.
Did you? Oh, sorry.
And no one took it away from me.
Now, looking back on it, is it something that you enjoyed and that you would do again?
No. It was challenging. I think the only reason I was able to do it is because the teacher had a way to do it where it was okay I couldn't see the computer. It was okay that I struggled using the system and the technology to create it in the program. But I still got it done. And I'm proud of that. And I think that what comes down to it is what you want to achieve, you have to think of an outside the box idea to complete it. For example, acting. I love being on stage. I love acting. I love cosplay. I love art. But a lot of people see Blind Girl and they want me to be part of it, sadly.
Yeah, I think that was going to be my thought. Is that's why I asked if the geospatial class is something you enjoyed, something you would do again. If you didn't like it, to try to find something that you did enjoy, but you would have known whether you liked it or not if you had done it.
Exactly.
And I think in my experience, when I was in college, I thought I wanted to either be a teacher or an aide and work with students with disabilities. And I think the biggest obstacle was, oh, you're blind, so students are going to see that and exploit it, and you're not going to be able to be of any use to the students. And it wasn't until I did an internship where I actually worked with students with behavioral disabilities, which could be hard for somebody that's not blind and not disabled. Which that part was scary because I'm like, the kids hit me, what am I supposed to do? Or if they attack me, what am I supposed to do? But, and of course, they gave me the one student that didn't want to be there, that didn't like me, but then seeing how, how I traveled to each class and how I worked with other students, after 3 or 4 weeks, I was her favorite.
Aww.
But no, I don't want to work with kids. I love being around people and I love helping people, and that did show that I wanted to do something in customer service, like
HR?
yeah, HR, customer service, some fashion of helping people and making their day better.
I can see that.
But what I want to teach and organize a lesson plan and deal with bratty kids, no.
I can
Nope,
see that.
nope, 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 nope.
As I was saying, like, I enjoy acting, but every time my vision got worse, my biggest struggle was going from on and off stage for the curtain because I could no longer see where the divide was to get on the stage, or how far down into the wings that they could no longer see me on stage. And it wasn't until college that I had an awesome director that figured out a solution was to have other actors help me on off the stage, but keep it in the show so I didn't break the character. For example, having the children walk me to my spot, or having me on my spot when lights came up, and then having fun interaction with another character and be dragged off stage. Which is why I don't get why now in theaters still aren't any blind actors. Currently, you'd want to be customer service, correct? If you'd have any job, your dream job, this moment, is that what you want?
I think I'd want to be a caretaker,
Aww,
which is crazy because apparently you need a green to do that.
I know. But you're good at it. I mean, you teach your dad. He's got a man child.
Wow.
He is.
I mean, you have to have a lot of patience, and I understand that you have to have CPR training, which I got certified for. And let me tell you, doing that with a blind person is hard.
I can imagine.
So I'd have to get recertified for that, which I could do. But apparently, you have to learn. You have to have all these classes and courses on like behavioral studies. Like, and it's the same type of education somebody would have to do if they want to be a counselor.
I can see that.
And I get the rationale behind it, but I feel like there should be like a certificate where it's some type of counseling classes and CPR class. I mean that's it.
But unfortunately, in this day and age, you have people that will corrupt the system and have elder abuse no way with it. I mean, that's why they need all the classes. So you know what not to do.
Mm, that's a valid point. But I don't want to go back to school.
I know. School is hard. I agree.
I'm a slow reader. It takes me way too long to read something and comprehend it and memorize it. So I went and got my associates in teaching. Hence why I know why I don't want to be a teacher. But I wouldn't do that again.
So I had my associates in creative writing, and when I went to get my bachelor's in English literature, is when I got the cataracts in my eyes. And as an English lit major, you have to read between 10 and 12 books a week. And because I couldn't find any audiobooks for my classes, I failed a semester.
Yeah, like you can read an audiobook in a day.
But half the books were between 10 to 15,000 words.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, somebody that can maybe only read, an hour or two at a time before they need a break, or not even be able to read that much.
Right.
That could take something that's say 1,000 words and make it feel like 100,000 words because it takes you so long to read it.
And that's just one book. I was taking 4 classes for plus math.
Why would you bring that up? That is a subject that should not be named.
So I still enjoy writing, but I found my craft is baking.
Mm.
Unfortunately, baking is visually heavy. So I can bake well, but I lack the decorating skills. And unfortunately, when I try to find classes, I have no luck. Because either they want me to be in a group setting, or I'm shoved aside and they don't want me to have a turn, or I'm just completely ignored, or they find a stereotype that someone that's blind shouldn't be there at all.
Hey, teacher.
Yes.
Can I play double advocate?
Yes.
So, and I'm wondering if like people listening to this are having the same thought. If you're blind, how can you make a cake look pretty without touching it a million times?
You can, but that's what an offset spatula's for, to help you clean up when you're done.
I fail to see it. I mean, I know it's possible because I know you, but I'm being a critic today.
I know. And there's other things you use. You use a stencil and use that to put decorations on the cake without touching it. You could do molds or chocolate molds or using fondant. There's other things you can use without touching the cake to make it look pretty. Or I've seen some where you make cakes and you cut it with fruit.
Ooh, like splattered paint.
No. So a native cake is a cake that doesn't have any frosting or icing on the side, so it's exposed.
That sounds weird.
It's what people like now.
How do you decorate it?
You don't. You just decorate the top.
That sounds boring.
Yeah.
I want the whole thing decorated. Um, so going back to doing your so going back to doing your resources, another avenue you could go down is calling somebody that can see better than you that you trust to look at the cake or something else that you're decorating to see if it looks pretty. Or you can use IRA Be My Eye, where you call a volunteer and they look at it to make sure it's symmetrical. So I agree. I think the whole you're blind, there's no way you can know if it looks pretty is crap because
You were about to curse.
yeah, I'm trying not to. But I do. I think it's crap because there are other ways around it. There are ways to have people help you to know whether or not it looks good.
Yeah. And I was so sorry because last week I finally got to try my hand at writing for cakes. And I admit, it was sloppy, it wasn't pretty, but that was my first time using a pastry bag. That was my first time learning how to write. I'm sure if I had more practice, it would get better. One thing I'm curious about, I know it's for me, it's because of having teeth problems, but if a lot of people that are blind, low vision, have speech impediments or trouble speaking, because when you grow up, you can't see how other people are talking. You just do it from what you hear.
I mean, I think the other part of that, I think the other part of the fence on speech impairments, I think that's another thing for BBS, but I think I kind of have one too sometimes. I think my brain and my mouth are short circuited and I like either babble or I say something and it's not. Yeah, I missed it. It doesn't come out. It doesn't come out very clear.
And for me, I have to be careful because I'm sure you guys heard during the podcast. If I speak too fast,
Like Red Hunter.
I slur my words. It's hard to understand
Meep,
me. And unfortunately, growing up, we get bullied for it. It makes you self conscious and makes you hesitate to speak. And I feel like Lauren's the reason I actually started doing YouTube and videos because I didn't want to do it at first for that reason.
meep. I hesitated to do YouTube at first too because I thought I would be judged on my appearance and I thought that people wouldn't want to hear what I had to say.
Aww.
So so learning to not put too much pressure on what other people's opinions are is a lesson I'm still learning later in life.
True. It's still hard. But also think that if you want to do something, regardless of your shortcomings or to handle yourself in life, you will find a way around it. When it comes to baking, I self-taught myself how to bake both American and French desserts. And when it also comes to deviation, I taught myself how to read tarot and brought myself a deck so I could do readings. You're writing.
Yeah, that's a love hate relationship right there. I feel like I have periods where I have imposter syndrome and I doubt myself and I think my writing is crap and I write anyway. And then I have periods where I had get tongue tied there. I recently had a writing drought, we'll call it, where I didn't write anything for a really long time. It was like 6 months. I would edit stuff and I would like write down notes and ideas. And I would have thoughts in my head, I just couldn't get it on paper.
At least I'm sure in mine. My
Oh, hold on.
what the hell's that?
I think that was your mic.
But your dry spell was short in mine. Mine was 3 years. I didn't write any of it. I didn't write any fan bits. I didn't write any poems. I didn't work any novels. So I get it. Sometimes it's hard to break your dry spells. Know about writing.
I I like the advice that was given to word vomit on the page until you're happy with what you have written. And word vomiting is when you just write and write and you just spew words on the page. It doesn't have to be coherent. It doesn't have to sound good, but you have to write and you have to keep writing.
But I feel like for those like us that weren't taught how to write in school, I feel like we came a long way in those writing.
I mean, what we shared last time on the podcast that we have between us, we have 3 collections of poetry,
Yep.
and each collection has 50 plus poems, which some people can't even publish one book of poems, and not 50 poems plus. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And we're polishing our novel.
Yep. Now that was a journey.
And that's 80,000 plus words.
And then we have the scroll, which has 20 ideas of both novels and poetry books to create.
And counting.
Yep.
I feel like that helped too with the dry spell, is trying to focus on new character or new ideas instead of trying to work on something off the scroll, which we probably should do. Just keep adding to it.
But for me, I feel like the dry spell occurred because I had really bad imposter syndrome due to other creators tearing me down.
Well, if it's not other people, it's yourself.
Yeah.
Too. Then you get in your own head and you think that's no good, which happened to me.
Yeah. But there's been 2 occasions now where I felt like I wasn't enough writer because people told me that or because they destroyed my work. And it was hard to pick up the pieces and go back to it.
So even if they didn't say that your writing was crap or that didn't like your writing, they made you feel like it wasn't good enough.
Well, one person destroyed my brand completely, and another person decided to ghostwrite our novel from what I wrote.
So how do you bounce back from that? Both of those things are hard.
Well, the first one I only bounced back because of you, and that was when I was working on Shazabis.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first collection was called Sherwood Asylum, and when it got destroyed, I didn't want to write on. I didn't want to create any more poems. I didn't want to create any more characters. I had no faith in my style in my writing. And he went, "Hey Nicole, write for this character for me."
That's me, by the way, in case anybody's wondering.
And it got me back into it. And what happened lately with the ghostwriter It made me think maybe I just did the poetry and not write novels at all.
Yeah, but look at Hunted.
I know.
When we get all the edits done, you're gonna have a book that we're proud of.
True.
And we have 2 other books in that series to finish.
Yep, book 2 is halfway done, and I have an idea for book 3. When we get there.
Blink, 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 blink. What? Question mark?
I think the series that I want to write, because it's the very first novel I wrote solo, I just need to figure out how to outline it. I feel like outlining a series is much harder than outlining a book.
Or a trilogy.
Yes. Because my very first novel was called Mod Angel. It had 60 characters and was 15,000 words and was only a quarter way done.
Are you trying to write a graphic series?
I don't know what I was trying to write originally. But when I was only a quarter way through and I saw how many words it was, I'm like, okay, this is a novel.
Yeah, I think for me, there's 2 or 3 different things that I've tried to write and I've rewritten it several times and I wasn't happy with it. But then seeing Hunted and Miss Finish kind of was like a lit of fire.
Yeah, I get that.
It was like, look, you and Nikki wrote a whole freaking novel from start to finish, and it's not just like a short story novella, it's a novel, it's 80,000 words. That's a lot.
And we wrote this novel 4 times.
Right. So I think my issue with I'm going to call it the Academy Project, because I don't like the title, but it's okay. That's not what tripped me up. It was the opening.
Aww.
I tried writing the opening for it like 5 times. And I have stuff on my phone. I think I'm happy with it.
Yay!
But that's again thinking that I exuberate.
It is a big word. Good job.
But see, the like ADHD, like finding things and being distracted from the goal. Like, oh, I don't like the title. I'm gonna pick at the title, and then not write the thing.
For me, it's wanting to work on the project. So I come home from work early and be like, oh, I have 6 hours free time. I should work on this idea. Instead, oh, look, here's someone playing a daylight. Here's YouTube. Here's a fanfic I want to read. Oh, look, it's 10 o'clock, time for bed.
Yeah, that's called procrastination. Ooh, do you have ADHD too?
I don't know.
A lot of people think that procrastination is a symptom, and you're not realizing it because you want to put off doing the project you should be doing.
Is having hyperfocus in our version of it?
Yes.
Then yes. Because if I do a task, you cannot break me from that task. I do that work all the time.
And tell me if you agree with this. If you break from that task, can you go back to it?
Yes, I can multitask.
I cannot.
Which impressed my boss because I can do such a task at once and not messed up. Which makes sense because I will read 4 or 5 novels at the same time or play more than one game at the same time. Because I just focus on one book or one game, I get bored very quickly.
Mm. I wonder if there's a way to like be medically tested for something like that. But there wouldn't be any shame in it, but you would know the symptoms, and you would. I feel like I would manage time better if I knew I had those things.
To be honest, I really don't care. I just see another part of their personalities.
No, but I'm really bad at managing time. Like whenever I watch a show about a character that has ADHD and they have like a timer for things, and I'm like, I should have that. But then I would ignore it.
I mean, you just have to find what works for you. For me, it's less. If
No.
I have a list or I have a schedule or pattern to follow, it works.
Nope.
Which is why I get frustrated when I go to work and I see that someone messed with my station and things are missing, things are not put back in the space I had it, which I think that's part of
ADHD.
Yes, we do.
And that's
Sorry.
OCD, where each little thing has to be in its proper place.
But I think that's also being part of being visually impaired. And if you know something in its spot, you don't have to search for it.
You go right to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like when things get moved and I'm not told and I'm searching for it and it's not where I left it, or not even anywhere near where I left it.
Exactly. Which is why someone that's blind or low vision, they can try out their whole house blindfolded, no problem. But if they go somewhere new, they're totally lost unless they're there for more than one day.
I watch a show about a character that has ADHD and they have like a timer for things, and I'm like, I should have that. But then I would ignore it.
I mean, you just have to find what works for you. For me, it's less. If
No.
I have a list or I have a schedule or pattern to follow, it works.
Nope.
Which is why I get frustrated when I go to work and I see that someone messed with my station and things are missing, things are not put back in the space I had it. Which I think that's part of
ADHD.
Yes, we do.
And that's
Sorry.
OCD, where each little thing has to be in its proper place.
But I think that's also being part of being visually impaired. And if you know something in its spot, you don't have to search for it.
You go right to it.
Exactly. So, what would be your advice when it comes to trying to follow your dream and dealing with society?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think trying to find something that brings you joy and not what others tell you to do, thinking that will make you happy. I think when you try to force something to happen out of other suggestions, thinking it will make them happy and it doesn't make you happy, you aren't going to be happy for very long, and you'll most likely burn out from it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good segue is finding what brings you joy, but also surrounding yourself with people that will support you and celebrate what truly brings you joy. I think having a supportive network around you will help pick you back up even when you're having doubt or imposter syndrome and you are tempted to give up on a dream and you kind of have your own little cheerleader lighting a fire under you and saying, "Hey, we got your back. We're in your corner. Don't give up yet."
And sometimes it's divine intervention that helps you. Because when I was looking for work, I was about to give up trying to find a job in the culinary field, and I found a job at a grocery store. Technically, it's not the job I wanted, but it's a stepping stone, and I am learning along the way.
Imposter syndrome and you are tempted to give up on a dream and you kind of have your own little cheerleader lighting a fire under you and saying, "Hey, we got your back. We're in your corner. Don't give up yet."
And sometimes it's divine intervention that helps you. Because when I was looking for work, I was about to give up trying to find a job in the culinary field, and I found a job at a grocery store. Technically, it's not the job I wanted, but it's a stepping stone, and I am learning along the way. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Our next episode, we will start doing our top 100 lists,
There's so many.
which will probably be more than one video because there's no way we can do 100 ideas in an hour.
The goal is to break it up into two parts. Maybe we can get through the first 50 in part one and then do the next 50.
We'll see. It might be better to do 25 maybe. Depends how much we get into them.
Ooh, I like that. That's 4 episodes each.
Yep. So the first list is going to be the top 100 animated films, which would be companies like Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, 20th Century Fox.
And then
we'll see. We have lists prepared.
I like the cartoon ones. That may be reminiscent of my childhood.
I like the video game lists. Half of them I don't know what they are actually shooting games, but it was still fun to write.
Yeah, I know like 20% of the game.
I mean, I am a gamer, so I'm not surprised anymore.
I am not a gamer, so I'm surprised I know as many as I do.
I mean, you were before you lost a lot of your vision.
Yeah. I'm a mood gamer. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
A mood reader. I like what I like. I can be open to suggestion, but I'm picky.
Yeah, I can see that.
But like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we hope that you enjoyed this episode of the podcast.
Until next time, bye!
Bye!